Hey, at MiWilderness. Gonna go out and do some fishing in the desert. This is as close as it gets to desert in Michigan. Unless maybe you go over by the Lake Michigan shoreline where the sand dunes are at. And the sand is hot. I just spent the last hour in a smoke-filled coffee house. Figured I'd try and go Cody Lundeen style, being as I'm in the desert. Just going out to do some fishing. Hopefully I'll catch some fish and have a shore lunch. I brought a little bit of food with me and gonna try a couple different techniques for building fires. Maybe a Dakota fire hole if I'm lucky. The fuel looks kind of scarce. I mean, I'm sure it's not as scarce as being out in the desert for real, but there's not a whole lot of trees around here, and not too many of them have dead branches. The ones that do are kind of hard to access, but I think I'm gonna gather me up some fuel along the way just in case. So I'm gonna shut this camera off and meet you at the fishing hole. Well, I got my fire hole dug, I think. I've never done this before, but this is pretty much sand, and the hole I have going between the two is pretty fragile, and I think once it heats up and dries it's just going to collapse. So I got this piece of bark off a old dead tree, and I'm going to put that in there to make a reinforcement for the tunnel going between the two holes, so hopefully it won't collapse on me. And in doing that, I found out the tree was infested with termites or winged ants of some kind. They're all over me, but they'll be off soon enough. Just wanted to show you that. This is the first time I've ever made one of these. It was easy to dig out. Let me get the camera, move it over there and show you. But this hole here is about elbow length deep, and there's a tunnel going over to this hole which isn't quite as deep, and that's not by design, that's just by the way it happened. I'm gonna put the fire in this left hole because it's up higher, so hopefully the heat will draw and I'll get better flow of air through there. I got my tinder nest and a few different types of tinder that I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give this fire steel another shot and see if I can experiment with some different materials. I got some small kindling all the way up to bigger, and then this is the stuff I drug over on my way in. I was gonna use that dirt I dug out as a windbreak, and that's the direction the wind was coming from, but now it has switched and it's actually came from every single direction as I've been sitting here. I think it took me about 15 minutes to dig that out and to break up all this tinder and make the nest. I did find there's a good bunch of wood right over there if I need more wood, but I got enough to get her going. I'm gonna get to it, and once I get my fire started, I'm gonna set up and do a little afternoon fishing and cook me some rice and stuff. So I'll talk to you when I get there. Tried a few different types of these things and tried striking a flame to that with this, but it just wouldn't work. I'm just gonna go ahead and use char cloth. I've already put it in my little bundle here. Hopefully I can get it to light up. go, let the wind do it. Woo! I think it's working. Boy, that baby lit right up with that wind blowing on it. Not like the other day. I hope my little bark roof structure holds that hole open in there. Boy, I burned myself. That thing got hot in an instant. Everything's a lot drier today too, so that might be part of the reason. I kind of struggled the other day. I think a lot of it was just because everything was so wet. But that wind is definitely raging through there. I think I'm gonna, once I get this going, I'm gonna take something and seal this hole off and kind of use it as a damper to control this fire. I think that was kind of the idea of the Dakota fire hole in the first place, is using a smaller amount of wood and, you know, having it be concealed and stuff. But it seemed like a good application for out here. I don't have a whole lot of wood like I would out in the hardwoods, and it just seemed like a good idea. I figured this ground would be fairly easy to dig as well. I actually tried using a couple old dried morels and hen of the woods as tinder to see if they would make an ember, and the dried morel, it actually made a small ember, but it didn't last. I tried some homemade charcoal, couldn't get that to take an ember with the fire steel. The char cloth obviously worked great. I used old blue jeans to make mine, 100% cotton, and it's kind of thick, so worked real good. Saved a little birch bark in case I need that. And another tip I got, I saw Iowa Woodsman had a video, and he said you want a nice steady base, so you can put that fire steel right on there and strike. And that wasn't my intent for this. My intent for this was to clean fish. This is my little cleaning board for fish or whatever that I take camping. But as soon as I picked it up, it reminded me of Iowa Woodsman's video where he used, I think he said his was a piece of cottonwood bark, I think. And it reminded me of that, and that actually made it a lot easier. You know, the other day I was trying to do it on the leaves and they were moving, and then I cleared away the leaves and I had the ground, but the ground was kind of damp, so this definitely helped. And you could easily just go out and find you a piece of wood that would serve the same purpose. But I'm gonna shut this video off and tend to my fire here and get my food cooking and get the fish in here. I'll talk to you in a few.